we're back at it. Finally got this place completely cleaned up to where I can use it. Some of the stuff is just jammed away in the corners, but it's kind of organized anyways. But I needed to get back working on this project. You've seen in the previous clips, this thing was completely buried. Yeah, it was in there. It just got buried because we had to pull all the stuff away from the walls, get the shop insulated here. So that was a win. Lots of work. Been real busy in the dump truck up until Thanksgiving, and as soon as I got done with that, I had my knee operated on, and I'm back walking around. It's not very painful at all now. So I'm gonna try to get some things done to this. Start simple. So I got these engine mounts from Summit Racing. I've told you that before if you've watched some of the other videos. It's to bolt this 12 valve Cummins into this square body Chevy. It's 1985. Regular cab long bed. So those mounts just bolt on the Cummins block, and then they set down in the original clamshell engine mounts. Problem is, I just got this set on here right now. One bolt in there. This is supposed to be over here, but it didn't quite fit, if you know what I'm saying. The fitment is a little off. I don't know. This is a first gen 12 valve. So the oil drain for the turbo comes right back here. And this boss in the block is hitting. It is hitting right there, very minimal. It's actually more of this. The rubber connection hose for the top and bottom sections of that return line from the turbo is keeping that motor mount pushed out away from the hole. So I gotta do some. I thought I was gonna have to clearance it down here, which I may still have to a little bit. Looks like I'm gonna have to do some up there. I actually think if that was over farther, it wouldn't be an issue. I just ground the corner off of this, a little bit, rounded it up. It didn't really take much. I originally thought this was in the way. It was, but I just tapped it with a hammer, and this lower section spun in the block. Now it's not in the way. I think it's gonna fit without any interference. Perfect. I already got the other side on. It didn't have any issues. It was a clean shot. This kind of was just that minor bit of grinding. Perfect. I'm gonna pull it back out and set her back down on the ground and modify a few things. This bracket right here, this AC mount, mounts up through here, but I think it's integrated into this thermostat housing. That's either gotta come off. I thought it was part of the, oh, it is. The thermostat housing is part of the alternator mounting system. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get the grinder and cut this off. Because that's hitting the cross member. I don't care if it has air conditioning. Never intended for it to. I guess there's aftermarket brackets. But that mount over there is hitting right here. And the oil pan is hitting right here. That engine was tipped one way or the other. So I think, start up here maybe, cut it out like this and all along this radius. And up. Same thing on the back side. But I don't want to remove it. I'm just going to modify it and piss on it. It's not going to be my horsing around. It's just going to be a going to town truck, as they say. Look at that. Why is all of this connected? It's just no sense. Water neck. Why does the water neck got all this extra shit on there to keep it from sealing? We can cut that off right there. We don't need any of that shit. I'm gonna use a grinder for a clean cut right there. You can see where I cut it off right there. That should have been a separate bracket that you could unbolt separately. I don't know why the hell they did that. Plus on top of it, I took the alternator off because I'm going to use a different alternator, but it was also part of that bracket, the mounting brackets right there. And then your belt tensioner is also built into it. So I got it back on there. We got to move forward if we're going to move forward. Where it looks like after you got that cut out. It's with that cut out, this is a little on the flimsy side, but I'm not sure this is going to work. But my plan is to put this underneath in like that, I'll have to put some pieces in on the over there to strengthen it back up, but that should be just like having it right there, but we'll get the clearance. So before I weld it in, I'm going to try to set the engine back in there, see what she tells me. Started. That's just a placekeeper right now, you know. Right there, a shiny spot. Just gotta get that to line up. That piece inside the old clamshell, it's a little on the worn outside, so it's not quite, you know, if I had a helper or something, I could probably get that. Alright, I got them engine mount bolts in. They're just in there for mock-up, but there was a little bit of a battle. Maybe it seemed like more of a battle because of my knee and all that. I can't really get around the engine very nimbly, but it's sitting there. I got the back end propped up with a jack stand. She's sitting there under her own weight. I'll back the tractor up so I don't have to dump under the bucket. So that's pretty good for a little gimp, handling that Cummins around there and prying, but you can see I just got a piece of thread all stuck through the engine mount right now, so it's located on this side because I don't have any of the actual bolts. I do have a bolt in this side, but it's not the right one. It might work, it's a fine thread, but I think it's exactly right diameter. So, jack stand holding the back. Gotta find a transmission, looking for something automatic with an overdrive. Here, is there any clearance on this vacuum piece? Just a little bit. I mean, if that thing torques, it's probably going to be ramming into that, which there's probably less than a 1/4 inch of space there. But I think I got to take that off of there. I don't think, well, clearly it's not going to have vacuum for the brakes, and that's all we would need the vacuum for. But I would like to have the power brakes. That other piece I showed you that I was trying to take it off, but it wound up breaking. It went under here. I don't know. It probably wouldn't fit, even if it did. Yeah, well, dang it. Well, it'll fit in there. If I need it to, I'll have to get a new mounting bracket for it. But that actually fits under there. It'll just have to come on and off if I ever need to take the engine out. This one is too close though. Those are vacuum pumps. If I could get those, I don't even know how they operate together or whatnot, but how does she torque? Okay. I don't think I want to notch that frame out for that, but it's okay because it torques up on this side. But when it comes back down, it will probably tonk and wind up breaking off. Because I didn't hit the part that broke, which is exactly the same as this one. very hard. I was just tapping on it, trying to break the seal, and the damn thing busted clean off. That's another story. Right here, that the harmonic balancer, that's pretty close too. I don't have a problem with notching that cross member out, so there's no chance of it hitting. That'll be okay. You can see in there the cross member that I had to cut up. See it on this side. So this is just mock-up right now. I am gonna have to yank it out at least one time to weld the piece that I cut out of that cross member. I'm gonna weld it back in like I showed you. Just, it'll be like sub-level, but it'll be there. This is a big win for me, so I'm pretty happy with that. Just mocking it up. Got a clearance this for the harmonic balancer so it doesn't hit it now, but it might rub on it under operation. So I'm gonna grind that out a little bit, clean this up so I can get ready to weld it. There's that. That's really simple to clearance that out, so there's some extra room for that harmonic balancer on the front of the engine. I got this cleaned up, deburred. I gotta drag the whole chassis down there by the welder so I can weld that cross member back in. All right, gonna weld this in there, see what we can do with it. I gotta cut up a couple pieces of steel to fill in these gaps from the top part there. That's basically done. I finished welding that. I forgot that piece right there, but it's all welded now. I think the next step, I have to get a transmission to put in this thing. And I think I'm going to get the other adapter that accepts the Chevy transmissions. There's a wider variety of transmissions I can use, like the 4L80. But besides that one, there's a lot more available transmissions. The 47 RH transmission that would be ideal to put on here was only in 2 model year trucks. They're hard to find and they're really expensive. So I think I'm going to get away from that, go with the Chevy option, like I said. So hopefully I can get the adapter ordered, and it'd probably be cheaper to just buy an old Chevy truck with a 4L80 or even a 4L60. It doesn't have to be strong, but it'll be cheaper to buy a whole rusted out truck that has a transmission in it than it will be to buy a 47 RH that works. Here's the actual truck that this project is wrapped around. It's got your standard stuff. It's not in wicked bad shape. Both fenders got a hole right there. Both front fenders got a hole right there. I'm gonna repair that with a homemade patch panel. Bed sides are, I mean, there's nothing to them. I don't think there's any saving those, so I'll have to get new bed sides or find a truck that has good bed sides. Your standard rocker panel, cab corner stuff. The inside's not horrible. There's a video on this truck, or a couple of videos, in the Square Body playlist. Now, I had a brain fart talking about transmissions earlier. I have a 4L60 four-wheel drive transmission right here. This was a donor truck that I got the engine for that, which is gonna be like a drag race car. So I'm gonna work on getting this out of here for the next video. Yeah, we'll work on getting that transmission out of there for the next video, and I think we'll just buy that Cummins to Chevy transmission adapter, which is a little spendy, but in the long run I have a working transmission. So I also found a standalone electronic controller for that 4L60E. It's just under 200 bucks. Don't need any engine controller to communicate with it. It's full manual shift, but you know, it's going to be cheap and it's going to work. So we'll get the controller and the trans adapter and work on getting that in there. But for now, this is going to be the end of this video. Thanks for watching.